Manny, you have presented an incredible bit of reportage of what is happening in Homs. You lived with ordinary people, you lived with fighters, you lived with activists, you lived with the Syrian video journalists. It's really bad now, really bad. It's even worse than it was when you were there. How do you think the people that you met and knew there are coping with the situation as it is now?
Clearly, the situation was really bad when I left. The shelling had started like a week before I left, very heavy shelling. And people were trying to cope with that, but really, really difficult. Even in their everyday life, it's really difficult. They have really big difficulties to find food now in districts like Bابaaعmrو, because the army, the regular army, is surrounding the whole district and forbidding anybody to get in. So for them, even to bring food is now an issue. Civilians in those areas are like under the threat of shelling at any moment, and they cannot do anything about it. There is no way of protecting oneself.
It's completely random.
It is totally, absolutely random. I've been witnessing the fact that the government forces are not only shelling FSA positions, Free Syrian Army positions, they are also shelling the civilians and the residential areas. So it is totally random, and they are consciously targeting civilians, unarmed civilians.
But you say it's random, and I agree that most of what seems to be happening is random shelling of civilian areas. However, there is informed speculation that the media center in Bابaaعmrو was targeted. And it's possible that spotter aircraft saw Began satellite dishes on the roof and maybe decided to shell it for that reason, because of the information that was coming out. The killing of the journalists today, how will this, in your opinion, affect the outside world's understanding of what's happening in there? Because we won't know what's going on anymore.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult for the people of Bابaaعmrو now to convey information to the world, to bring out information to the world as they used to do it with the means that they have. All those information activists on the ground have been very courageous to gather as much information and as accurate information as they can gather, and they have been working on a daily basis to bring that information. Now that the desk information has been hit, I am sure it's going to be very difficult for them even to keep on working.
Yesterday, Marie Colvin, the Sunday Times foreign correspondent who was killed this morning, told me that what she was witnessing was the worst onslaught that she's ever seen as a veteran war correspondent. She described what was happening in Homs as not just a war and a siege, but as a terrible humanitarian tragedy. Now, your film, in fact, some of the scenes that I can see right now behind your head, show the incredible resilience of the people there. How long do you think they can hold out?
They've been resisting for the last year. It has been a year now since they've been resisting, and they have shown really very strong determination to keep on this fight against the regime. When I was there, it's the second feature I'm doing in Syria, and every time I come back, I'm really stricken. I'm by this resilience. I mean, shelling after shelling, there are more and more civilians being killed by shelling, by snipers also. Lots of civilians are being killed by snipers. But nevertheless, I've always seen the people of Homs, the people in those areas, extremely determined to keep on the fight and never give up.
Well, it's gone on for a year, as you say, nearly a year now. From what you've seen, from the fighting and from the determination of the civilian population to resist, Can there, in your view, be a political solution to the Syria crisis?
For the people in those opposition areas, it is very unlikely that they would accept any kind of political solution that doesn't lead to the fall of the regime. This is the first thing that they are asking, the fall of the regime and a real change in their country.
So there can't be any talking until President Assad is gone?
I don't think they would accept.
You took absolutely extraordinary risks to make the film that you've brought to Channel 4 News. Marie Colvin took huge risks as well, and she died. How do you think this conflict can be covered and continue to be covered by journalists, given the enormity of the risks of the coverage?
Clearly, the risks have to be taken into account. It's a really difficult situation there that we are facing, that the people of Syria are facing. And as journalists, I think we have to try to do our best to bring the truth and to tell to the people, I mean, to tell to the world what is happening there. So that was my aim when I went there. I hope I'll find the courage to keep on working and keep on informing about what is going on there in Syria.